You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
Why is he still talking? Good afternoon, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talk's MLB update. Hope everybody's doing well today. A little rainy and cold here in upstate New York. I think it's about 48 degrees right now, and it's been pouring down rain all day. Had a great spring tea with my little 2.5-year-old granddaughter this morning. What a blast Papa had, which we'll talk more about. Maybe Sunday, maybe even today, who knows. But I want to welcome everybody watching today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, of course, National Streaming Sports Roku channel, where we continue to broadcast even after the sad passing of our National Streaming Sports leader, Mac McGrath, who you all know. I appeared on those shows with Mac and Jack Fridays and Sundays, Wednesdays for years, 5 years. Miss Mac. It's been a week. Seems like it's been a lot longer. And appreciate Sonia picking up the slack and where Mac had hosted. We'll all decide what's going to happen going forward. And Linda, our thoughts and prayers are still with you. So we're all those places. I want to thank all the groups that will allow me to share this show and all my shows. As always, John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities, Greg Rawlings at America's Pastime and Love for Baseball, Flo and the Gang at Bottom Line Sports, Let's Talk Sports, where Flo and the Gang do their great podcast. And lots of great content on Let's Talk Sports, just like there is on National Streaming Sports, guys. Really good podcasting. I've had a lot of compliments recently, and I don't think I do anything special, guys. I just come out here to have fun. Who else? Ken Krause at Golf Bud Sports of All Sorts. And we got to start thanking more of you guys, because there's 100+ groups probably I share these shows to, depending on the content of those shows. And I thank you for your support over these years, and hopefully we continue to have the same relationship that we have today, or even a better one. What else did I want to talk about? Thumbs up, DDH. I mentioned Let's Talk Sports, and I mentioned our late friend Mac McGrath, and I know he's watching all of these shows as they happen, just to know my good friend Dan Harris is the founder of Let's Talk Sports. So we got lots of angels watching over us, so let's hope we can have some good shows. Ralph Williams, quick shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff out of Pittsburgh. Why does my head always look sideways? My glasses look crooked, and whenever I'm on camera, it's got to be my head. We got some new glasses this week, by the way. Can see again. What was I saying? Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff out of Pittsburgh. Most especially the Sports Corner every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern with Smokin' Jim Frazier, where I've been a guest many times and had a blast each and every time. So welcome, everybody. We'll talk some Major League Baseball today. There's some news to talk about, obviously. Rafael Devers, again, showing what a great teammate he is and team player he is. We'll get into that. The Pirates fire Derek Shelton. Chet Lemon. I want to talk a little bit about Chet Lemon today. Rest in peace. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family as he lost a battle with some health issues here yesterday, I want to say. Really good, underrated Major League Baseball player in general. I was shocked when I looked at his numbers. Never won a Gold Glove. 3-time All-Star. Played with the White Sox. Played with the Tigers. I think the A's. Won a World Series with the Tigers. We'll talk a little about him. Maybe we'll look at the power rankings. We'll look at some of the disappointing teams and a couple of closers and rookie of the year candidates and some other maybe disappointing starts around the league. And the hots. Let's start right now with the hots and hots. Well, and we'll look at all the standings as well, and we'll take your comments. Who's hot right now? Is before I get to the hellos. Who's hot? The Tigers are hot. 4 straight. Still in first place in the Central. The Royals starting to chase them down, as are the Twins. The Royals 9-1 in their last 10, 6 straight. The Twins, every time I write them off, and I thought Rocco Baldelli might be walking the plank finally, they've won 5 straight. Seattle 8-2, 3 games clear now in the West, and the A's are in second place in the West. Still surprising. The Cardinals have moved to 500 with 5 straight wins. And the Dodgers remain in first place in the very tough NL West. We'll talk more about that. Who's not hot? The Orioles are not hot. 5 straight losses now. The Rays have lost 3 straight. AL East is kind of in a funk right now. White Sox 3-7 in their last 10, on a pace for 120 losses, only 1 off their record from last year. But we got a better one coming up. Rangers 3-7. Their last 10, Angels 3-7, and the Rockies continue. Every year since I've started this show, we've got somebody chasing the loss record. And this year, the Rockies 2-8. They are right now on a pace for 136 losses. It's remarkable. How bad can you be? Who's with us this afternoon? Rick Sherlock's with us. How you doing, Rick? Up in Amsterdam, New York. Time for the jingle. Put a smile on the face and honor to Mac. I agree 100%. Let's give a quick jingle. For those of you who don't know, Mac did the openings for a lot of the shows, and I still play his opening for my show. And one day he just came up with this jingle. It makes me laugh. It's a little tacky, but it's fun. So I always laughed and thanked Mac for this and would play it from time to time. And Rick loves to hear it. Put a jingle. We'll put a jingle on your face. We'll put a smile on everybody's face today.
Keith Engle, the guy with the sports talk show. On the internet, he's the guy that we all know. If you love your sports, he's the guy for you. He has lots of shows on Roku. Keith Engle with the TGI Sports Talk Show.
How cool is that? I love it. It does put a smile on my face, and it gives a little honor to our good friend, Mac McGrath. So thank you, Rick, for pointing that out. And do continue to do that, because that's, I don't have a lot of clips to show. I can probably make some, but I don't have time right now. Sonia's done a great job on all the national streaming sports shows that she's hosted in Mac's absence. And since his passing, of doing a great job of cutting out some clips and honoring Mac. And she played one this morning. They taped the Mac and Jack show this morning. I wasn't able to attend this morning because I was at the my little 2.5-year-old granddaughter's spring tea. Grandpa or Papa had a great time this morning. It was a lot of fun. So I couldn't do the show, and I know Sonia and Jack taped it last night, and I watched it quickly before I left the house this morning. And she did a nice little tribute again to Mac. She's done some really good stuff, and we'll be talking about the future of what will happen with national streaming sports and those shows that Sonia has so graciously picked up the hosting duties for. I know I'm going to do one of the Mac and Jack shows with Jack here in a couple of weeks, but we're glad to pick up where we can. So anyway, baseball. What's up with Rafael Devers? Who's with us? Where is my Red Sox brethren here? I mean, can this guy get more or less team oriented than sorry, little work distraction. Can anybody, by the way, we'll give you guys the countdown. 110 days. Probably, if I count weekends, it's probably less than, it's around 80 work days, probably not, maybe not even that. weekends, PTO, holidays. Anyway, can you get less team-oriented than Rafael Devers? We all know the story this spring when they signed they signed Bregman. They wanted Devers to go to DH. He fought it tooth and nail, whined and cried. Finally did it, got off to a horrific start. Now they lose their first baseman, Cassis, for the year with a torn patella tendon, if I said that right. Patella tendon. Patella tendon. And they say, Rafael, can you do me a favor and play first base so that we can get some other bats in the lineup at DH? No, you told me to put my glove away, and my glove's put away forever, apparently. You know, guys like Aaron Judge will run through a freaking brick wall for their team. They asked him to go to center field last year, which was not in his best interest. Much tougher on a big body like his. He's not as good a center fielder as he is a right fielder, and he could have said no. Or he could have said, I don't want to. But no, he just does what's good for the team. The guys like Rafael Devers, who are getting paid a boatload of money, by the way, I don't get it. And I don't want guys like that on my team. I don't care how talented they are. And by the way, he's a really good player. It's not like this guy is the second coming of, I'm trying to think of somebody that, Ted Williams. Let me check it. I want to check his numbers out overall. I mean, he hit about 260 last year, if I'm not wrong. What did he hit last year? You can tell I'm a bit annoyed, right? Jesus. I mean, God, it's not even my team. So his career batting average, by the way, stands at 278. Okay, not terrible. 508 slugging percentage, very good. On-base percentage, 346, pretty good. Last year, he had 255 with... I'm sorry, he's hitting 255 now. 272 with 28 homers and 83 RBIs. You know, this isn't like Juan Soto production. His best year, you got to go all the way back to 2021. Well, I'll give you 2023. 33 homers, 100 RBIs, 851. I mean, this is a very good Major League Baseball player. This is not one of the best players of all time who can just sit here and, make all kinds of demands. I'm sorry. You do what's best for your team. He doesn't want to do that. There's JB. How are you? I talked about the O's 5 losses in a row. I'll skip off of Devers. We'll go back to Devers. Anybody's got any comments about Rafael Devers? I'll probably circle back because this is going to be like you're going to hear it Sunday. I'm like a dog with a bone when it comes to these things. Well, JB's with us. Check out JB's stuff on YouTube, JB, the Back It Up Binge podcast. I know he's done some great things with some great interviews. If you got any coming up soon, let us know. The Orioles have dropped 7.5 games out of first place right now. Not time to panic because, with 10 freaking wild cards or 3, you're only, 5 games out of the wild card. No, that's not true. I guess 7 games out of the wild card. So that's almost far back as first place. It's starting to get worrisome. Negative 69 run differential, 5 losses in a row. They're worried about their pitching, but they aren't hitting. We talked about it last week. And it's possible, this is a team, and I don't feel like this is the manager's fault necessarily, but I think I could be in trouble here. We just saw Derek Shelton, a little different situation with the Pirates. They don't even want to win. I'll get to that in a second. Westberg wasn't hitting when he was up, though. I refused to trade him in a fantasy league to Drew, but he's only hitting about $138, isn't he? And they will help. Elflin's back now, isn't Eflin? Excuse me, isn't he back now, or is he out again? Excuse me. O'Neill's on the boy. You guys have got a lot of guys hurt. Westberg's still out. Yeah, Eflin's out again. I thought he came back because I picked him up in a fantasy league. I think that will help. You can't keep falling behind, though, man. You can't. This team has got to find a way to tread water and have the next man up mentality, so that when these guys come back, there's something to come back to. And when's Henderson going to hit? He's starting to pull out of that rut, but he's got 5 RBIs here, guys. We're approaching Mother's Day. He's got 5 RBIs. He's up to 250. I do think by the end of the day, Gunnar will have his numbers. Rushman's hitting 210. Cedric Mullins, after a decent start, is down to 237. Mountcastle's hitting 209. They're hitting 227 as a team, and on-base percentage under 300. Their slugging percentage is only 385. In today's game, that's pretty bad. Jackson Holiday starting to hit a little bit. I like what Holiday's doing. I do think he needs to be played every day, JB. No word from Mark Mancini and the firing of the Pirates manager. He's too wrapped up in the fact that Dave Roberts, who's got 2 World Series championships in the last 5 years, needs to be fired. And by the way, and I'll get on to the Pirates in a second. And Mark Mancini, Mark's too funny. He rips. Mark lives out, and I love Mark. He's fine. Miss having Mark on now and again. But why is my do I have enough light on myself? I hate when I turn my head. I'm looking at the TV. I turn my head and everything goes like. Mark's all right. He just hates everything LA. We never talk about his team, which is the Pirates, who never want to win. They fired Derek Shelton. I feel bad for Derek Shelton. He was never given a chance. Never given a chance by ownership in Pittsburgh because they're too busy taking their revenue sharing money and put it in their pocket instead of making the team better, which is what it's for, by the way. Robert Nutting is not letting his managerial team, whether it's the front office or the team on the field, have any chance to win. No chance. Because you don't reinvent. That's what this was put in, the luxury tax and the revenue sharing type pieces to baseball's complicated financial situation is put into place to let the have-nots have something more to spend their team and have a better competitive balance. Not put it in your pocket and do whatever the hell you do with it, Robert, whether it's cocaine and hookers, there's a lawsuit coming, or whatever. Sorry. I'm not saying Robert Nutting is doing cocaine and hookers. I was using a very exaggerated example. We'll talk more about that as need be. Henderson said spring training, no ABs. Good point. And no doubt. I mean, look, he's raised his batting average about 100 points in the last 3 weeks. So I'm giving Gunnar. Listen, Gunnar's on one of my fantasy teams too. I've got Gunnar. I got Willie Adames. He's another guy I was going to talk about with some disappointing results here early in the season. Both stinking it up. They should both be in my lineup somehow. I can't even play them both. Back, again, it's awful, isn't it? Well, you know what? Yes. All right. I will put something on the Red Sox here. Right? They asked him to move. He gave him a hard time. He did move. They asked him to move again. I don't care, though, Scott. As a player, your job, my job, I'm paying you. Right? Well, I'll say I'm ownership of the company that I work for and the people that work for me. If I ask them to shift roles, their choices are to do what I asked them to do or not work for me anymore. And we've had a lot of that reorganization over the last 3 years in my professional life. So I don't see it any different in the world of sports. Except, you got a no-cut contract and I can't just get rid of you because I'm paying you hundreds of millions of dollars. But if I ask you to change your role, okay, I don't care whether that's hitting cleanup and we're going to move you to lead off, or you're playing third base and now I want you to go to first base, or I've asked you to move positions 5 times this year. Step up and be a team player at one point. Rafael Devers is never, as he won, I shouldn't say he's never, he's probably won a World Series. This guy's turned into a prima donna right before your eyes. I'm telling you right now, and he's not that good to be able to think he's got that kind of juice. He's got a big contract. You think Rafael Devers is one of the top, I don't know, where do you think he ranks, Scott? JB? Beat him. He's not one of the top 10 players in baseball. I'm not sure he's one of the top 20 players in baseball. Take Scooble and the Tigers tonight. Also over on his K prop. Listen to Scott when it comes to these bets, especially prop bets. He's really good. I can't agree with you enough on your Devers take. He's totally selfish. 100%. If I ask you to go play center field, go play center field. If you say I'll do it the best I can, and if I stink out there, well, that's life. You don't have that much juice, Raphael. Yeah, I think I would too, Scott. I don't know that he's in the top 50. There's 50 guys with numbers as good as his from last year. Plus, he's starting to look like, am I wrong too? And then listen, I have nobody to talk about weight, I guess. But he's starting to look like Pedro Sandoval out there. Pablo Sandoval, right? The Kung Fu Panda. From San Francisco. Did he play with the Red Sox too, didn't he? Is it my imagination, or is that who he's starting to look like? I mean, put the donuts down now and again. The new stats have me scratching my head. I can't. You're not missing anything with expected stats, right? I can look at that, and when you're looking from a fantasy baseball perspective, that's all great. Because it's all forecasting what I can expect, usually based on previous results. Don't get me going on, and Drew's not here to defend himself, so I don't want to get going too much on. Well, not himself. He will sometimes, and he doesn't go for all the newfangled stats. The ones that drive me crazy, and expected stats, I don't know in what context we're talking about it here. JB, because I've only really seen it in the context of fantasy baseball, and that's not real baseball. But WAR itself is about expected stats from not just the guy who got hurt, but from the people that are replacing him. Well, actually be based on the people that actually did replace him. So somebody has a better backups than this. Has always been my argument with WAR, and expected stats probably play into it a little bit. So if I'm out, my star player, Aaron Judge is out, for instance, and his expected stats were to be XYZ. And the guys that replace him are really bad. Well, his WAR will go up. But if, say, a Mike Trout is out and he's got, and I'm not saying these are real world examples. I'm just throwing stuff out there. if Mike Trout's out and the guys who replace him play like me at 65 years old and, hit 150, if I could hit 150, that'd be amazing, probably. Whatever. They hit 150 and hit no homers. Well, I think I said that backwards, right? So let me start over. Judge has really bad replacement players. His WAR is better. Trout has a really good replacement, a really good backup. They find somebody in the minors, whatever. His WAR is less. That's just a stupid stat. That's more that's more representative of the players you have backing up the players than the player you're actually trying to replace. I don't know where I'm missing a boat here. He's eating himself out of effective player. I agree. He does look like Pablo Sandoval, doesn't he? I didn't notice it until, and maybe he's gotten bigger since spring training because I have. But he looked huge. I mean, I thought this was going to happen with Vlad Jr. for a while. I thought he was going to eat himself out of being a great player. And he trimmed himself down, more or less. If I thought I still had a chance to be a great player, I would trim myself down. I do expect, actually, quite frankly, on that topic, to lose weight once I retire here in 3 months or so. Because the pressure of work will be gone, and I expect to get on the treadmill and actually turn it on. Why everybody got to bother me on a Friday afternoon? It just gets old. Anyway, not you guys. I want you to bother me on a Friday afternoon. I had a couple topics I wanted to get in. And Chet Lemon, by the way, now that we got a few people here too, I want to send out, again, my condolences to Chet Lemon's family. Chet Lemon was a very capable player. Not a great player. He averaged 273 for his career, had a little bit of pop, 215 homers with a high of 24. He hit 20 3 or 4 times. Never had 100 RBIs, never stole a ton of bases, was a very good defensive player. I was shocked to see he had never won a Gold Glove. My memories of him were that he was a very good outfielder, and I would have thought he'd won a Gold Glove. He played with the White Sox in Detroit. I did mention Oakland before. I'm not sure where I got that from. But he was part of that 1984 Tiger championship team. He actually had a really, really good year that year. 20 homers, 76 RBIs. 287, 357, 495, 852 OPS. That's really good. That team was so good. So good. So our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, and he's a player. I'm not telling you that he's a guy who should be in the Hall of Fame by any stretch of imagination, but he's the kind of ball player that every team needs if they're going to be winners. And from all accounts, Chet Lemon was also a great teammate and a good human being. So our thoughts and prayers go out to him. And we're not talking about Chet Lemon now. We're still talking about our boy Rafael Devers. Has nothing else to do but go in the clubhouse and order a pizza during the game. I'd like to think you're saying that jokingly, Scott, but I think it could be true. And AC, I believe AC is a Red Sox fan. Are you on board with me and your fellow Red Sox fanatic, Scott Colby, that Rafael Devers is one of the most selfish players I've come across in the last couple of years anyway? And I've seen my share in 65 years. I've seen my share of selfish baseball players. Rafael Devers is right at the top of the list right now. Selfish to a T. No, you told me to put my glove away. I thought you meant forever. I don't care. You're not one of the best players in baseball. You don't get to dictate where we want you to play. You play where we tell you to play. Or how about this? You don't play at all. We'll pay you all your money, and you don't play at all. They want to check my freaking blood pressure every 15 minutes, Scott. They probably should. What do you got here? Here's the thing, Scott. That's a great idea. And apparently you're on the same page with Scott and I. He is a loser with a loser attitude. 100% accurate. You're not getting you'll get the best starting pitcher you can get. You get about a number 3 starter for him right now. With the money that he's making, the bad attitude that he shows, and the fact that he's eating himself out of being an effective player, as Scott and I have said, I don't see him as... I agree with Scott. We were talking about where we see him ranking. I think he sees himself as one of the top 10 or 15 players in baseball. He's not the top 50. So if I say that, and I'm not going to get a top 50 starting pitcher back, you're not getting much back for him. And who's going to take on the salary? Red Sox screwed up royally with this guy. And sometimes before you give guys money, you've got to figure out what kind of character they have. And you don't find out about character until there's some adversity. And his first bit of adversity basically is, we want you to move off of third base and play DH. And he says, no. And then they said, well, you got to. And we want you to put away your gloves. And he thought meant he'd never be asked to play the field ever again in any circumstance. So now his second bit of adversity is and it looks like the clubhouse, by the way, is 100% behind what we're saying. He doesn't seem to have any backers in that Red Sox clubhouse based on what I'm reading. And again, you guys might be closer to the situation I am, but So in the news this week, I mean, the last couple of days, you've got players who don't care about winning, in my mind, and divers. They just care about their contract, getting their money. I might go out to first base and embarrass myself. That's part of what I think this is. And you got owners who don't care about winning. Pirates fired their manager, and look, managers get hired to get fired. But you don't care about winning. You don't give your GM the resources to go out and get better players. But you expect better results out of your manager when you don't care yourself about winning and losing. Oh, I'm sorry, you care about losing? So that's what we're dealing with today in baseball. Alex Corolla told Breslow if he wanted to play first base, he had to go to Devers, and he wasn't doing it. Alex Corolla told Breslow if he wanted to play first base, he had to go to Devers. He wasn't doing it. Oh, I see. I mean, the inmates run the asylum. Actually, except in Pittsburgh, the asylum owners are the ones who are crazy. I mean, so here you got inmates trying to run the asylum in Boston, and in Pittsburgh you got the guys who are running the asylum who should be actually in the asylum. Almost any team would love to have him as a DH with a fresh start. He isn't making that much money. 300 mil is a lot less than. Yeah, but hold on, AC. You're right. 300 million compared to 600 or 700 million that Judge and Soto are getting, and Ohtani, they're the guys getting that money. Who else is getting that money? Am I missing somebody? I could be missing somebody, but I don't know of anybody other than those three getting that kind of money. They're the three best players in baseball. This guy's not even in the top 50. I'm not taking him on. And I'm not paying a DH that kind of money. Ohtani can get his $75 million to be the DH. If Dodgers want to do that, they can afford it. You think his attitude is going to change with a fresh start? You just said he was a loser with a losing attitude. I'm not trading for that. That's just me. Again, that's one man's opinion. I don't think you're going to get anywhere near. And again, I'm not saying he's a great player. I don't think he's top 50. I'm not sure you get equal value even at that valuation. Trade him to the. You look at JB. Where are you? You still here? The Orioles are dying for bats. You think they're trading for this guy? Well, first of all, they don't have the starting pitcher to trade for him, but they're not doing it. What team's taking him on? With the contract, with the weight issues. I see this guy's production really dropping in the next 4 or 5 years. I really do. He's only had 2 really exceptional seasons in his career, in my mind. Let me look at this again. Exceptional seasons. Maybe I'll give you a 3. 2019, he had 54 doubles. We go with 32 homers. That's remarkable. 2021, they won a World Series. No, they didn't win a World Series. There's no way they won 3 World Series in the last 5 years. Yeah, I'll give you 19. I'll give you 21. And I'll give you 23. Other than that, he's an average player. Above average player. Above. Yeah, he's been in the MVP voting, top 15 4 times. Attitude matters to me. Character matters to me. Character's always mattered to me. You know why the Yankees won? I'm going back a ways. I get it. We go back to 96. Why the Yankees won 4 out of 5 World Series. There was no superstars on that team. They had a lot of good players, really good players, who knew how to play the game, not just hit. And they did what was asked of them. You don't see that today. I would say his contract is an albatross. AC must have a lot of money from that poker's stack he's got in front of him. Next season, next offseason, someone else with a bigger contract, and they just keep getting bigger. Yeah, but again, they're giving those contracts to the players who can actually play the game at a very high level consistently and also contribute other places. Aaron Judge is getting that money not just for what he does on the field, but what he does off the field. Same thing with Ohtani, because Ohtani puts people in the seats. Rafael Devers doesn't put anybody in the seat. Juan Soto probably will put people in the seats, although he's off to a disappointing start. One of the guys I had on my list is new faces off to disappointing starts. I don't know if we'll get to it or not. I said top 50 player, number 1. I don't even know about top 50 hitter. He's 28 years old. 28 years old. But you want to get rid of him, AC. How are you going to sell me on why he's a great player, but you want him off your team? He's a great player and worth whatever you think he's worth, but you want him off your team. That's a tough sell for me. I'm gonna try something real quick. Top 50 MLB. I'll now go by hitters. And I'm going to look at the guys they put above him, and I'm going to tell you they're better than him. Hang on one second. Top 50 MLB hitters. All right. Is he better than Aaron Judge? Yeah, this is probably not a good way to go. This is this year's hitting. I need something better than this. Give me a second here. I don't want all time. Here's a ranker. Let's try this ranker. So hitters. I'm going to go through these. Is he better than Ohtani? No. Is he better than Judge? No. Is he better than Trout? No. When he's healthy, no. Mookie Betts? No. Acuna? No. Freeman? No. Harper? No. Ramirez? No. Vlad Jr.? No. Tatis Jr.? No. Lindor? No. Seager? No. Altuve? No. Machado? I don't know about that one. Trey Turner? No. Bregman? No. Yelich? Not crazy about that one. Bellinger? No. We got some guys on the downturn here. I don't like this ranking. I gotta get a better ranking here. This is not a good list. That's gonna be a video. I don't want a video. There's the best stats, tier rankings, best hitters. We use 2024 season. All right. Is he better than Austin Riley? He's at 50. No, I don't think he is. Jesse Winker? Probably. O'Neal Curry? Matt Olson? No. Lawrence Butler? No. Chisholm? No. Chapman? By some of your fancy stats? No. Alonso? All right, I got to put him in the top 50, I suppose. Hitters. If I'm going to use players, and I did say players to begin with, he's not a top 50. So you're paying him $30 million. He's hitting .255 with 6 homers, 25 RBIs, 46 Ks, and you want to pay a guy like that over $30 million. I'm not doubting he'll hit, right? It's not all about hitting. First of all, if all he does is hit, the Dodgers will rue the day. If Ohtani doesn't pitch, they'll rue the day they're paying him $75 million just to hit, not wear a glove. Which is why I can't rank him ahead of Judge. Judge is the best player in baseball. Maybe the best hitter in baseball as well. He turned 28. He's at 28. He should be under. He should. That's a great point. He should be hitting 27, 28. Usually hit your prime as a hitter. By the way, that locked up for 8 more years is not necessarily a good thing. It seems like a lot, but in 2 years, 30 mil will give a fourth or best player on a team. Well, that's part of the problem. And again, I don't begrudge people their money. I say anybody's worth whatever somebody's willing to pay them. Earning, it's a different story. He's not earning his money. If I just look at what he's done the last couple of years, so he's basically, in my mind, getting paid off of what? 2023. He's gotten worse. Fewer home runs, fewer RBIs. Of course, he had fewer bats last year. And again, I expect this guy's body to break down within the next 8 years. I mean, Scott sees it. Do you not see it, AC, that this guy's body is going to not hold up under the rigors of 162 games? Especially if I ask him to do more than hit, and maybe we get a guy to run the bases for him. Oh, I'm off the team because the management and him don't get along, and we need to find a team. Yeah, but you said he was a loser with a loser mentality. And I think you're not wrong. You're absolutely right. I agreed with you. We need to find a team with a lot of pitching that needs another full-time bat, and that's how we make it work. As long as they're willing to take on the two things. What right now is a horrible, horrible attitude that you're bringing into a clubhouse. That's not to be discounted. Again, that's where I started to go with the Yankee teams. In the 90s, those weren't great, tremendous superstar athletes. Great character on that team. Character means something. And the other thing is the body going to hold up? He's not better than Vlad. No way. First of all, Vlad is made himself a pretty good defensive player. Number one. Let's take a look at. Let's see where their numbers rank. And it's not all about numbers, by the way. So Vlad's best year is 48 homers, 111 RBIs, 1,000.002 OPS. His OPS for his career is 861. Devers is 855. Okay. Vlad's also been in top MVP, top 10 twice. Devers, not so much. His second best year, 30, 103, 940 OPS. There's nothing on Devers' resume that even comes close to that. Either one of those years. Nothing. That's close. I mean, but don't take offense, AC. This is just me. You threw down the gauntlet, my friend. His career batting average is 288. What's Devers? 278. Vlad's got the advantage. Devers has played more years. Vlad's got more home runs. No, he doesn't. Sorry. But he's played also about 4 less years. I'm just going to disagree with it because Vlad has also turned himself into a decent first baseman. If he was better than Vlad, you wouldn't be trying to trade him. I didn't say I could. I just said I can't rank them just numbers. I haven't seen Devers do a whole lot in the big moments either, by the way. And I agree with that 100%, by the way, AC. Because I talk about it all the time. You can't just look at numbers right now at this moment, and that's all I have to compare. He does, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Raphael does have a World Series ring, does he not? Was he on the team that won last in Boston? No, I want the Red Sox. Hang on. When did the Red Sox last win the World Series? You guys are fans. Help me out here. Has he been on a World Series winning team? Because that is one big plus he would have over Vlad. But I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm looking quick. 2018 won the World Series. Okay. Was he on that team? Now the question becomes, was he on that team? He was. Not a huge contributor. Hit 240 that year. And some of these numbers do mean something, by the way. 298 on base percentage means something to me. Not very good. But you're right. Numbers can't be everything. I won't disagree with that, even a little bit. The thing you have to understand, AC, is there are signs that, again, this is part of my issue as well, and why the Red Sox ought to be looking to move him, as you are in favor of, AC. I'd get rid of that contract for whatever I can get. There's that. I mean, I just don't think you're going to get back what you think. I mean, you want a starting pitcher, AC, so tell me. And we're only got about 10 minutes left here. We can go a couple minutes long if I stop the Roku feed, probably. And maybe we will, because this conversation I find exhilarating. Tell me the type of starting pitcher you think you can get back. You can't get an Alcantara, even though he's off to a horrible start, because Marlins can't take on his contract. So to me, the options to move him are fairly limited. Maybe we'll try to take a look at that here in a little bit. AC, let me know. Do you want to pay a guy $30 million that hits 240 with 20 to 25 homers and RBI, close to 200 strikeouts? That's going to be Devers for the next 8 years, I would say. Vlad Jr. This is a Red Sox. By the way, AC, Scott Colby is Boston through and through. Vlad Jr., and he's talking about Vlad Jr. as a leader in the Toronto of that Toronto club. Agreed. Wants to have it nothing to do with this guy wants nothing to having to do with be a leader, and you're paying him $30 million and the longest tenured player in the team. And Vlad Jr. could have hit the open market, by the way, and probably got more than he's getting now. No, I love this, by the way. I love this. This is what I love. He was on, yeah. You guys got to speak up faster. I could have saved myself a lot of time. Or I got to get to the comments faster. It's all good. Look at, I mean, it'd be a boring show if I just sat here and said, yeah, it's all good. You guys are right. They got Crochet, so they need to find someone like that. You're not going to get somebody like Crochet. And again, I'm not a big fan of Crochet because I think he'll get hurt. Although he's fine right now. Knock on wood. I don't think you're getting somebody. Again, I need somebody. I don't need a guy that already got AC. Give me another guy. Who's available? What do you think? Look at the starting pitchers. Think about the. Well, you can't think about the Orioles because they don't have any starting pitchers. If the Orioles had Corbin Burns last year, you think that they would trade Corbin Burns straight up for Devers? I don't think they would. I don't think they're. Scott, well, you're right. But again, they've got a pretty, to me, look at the team's playing well. I still believe you win with pitching and defense, and this team is hitting now. Right now, anyway. I mean, we talked about this last week. Where's the standings? Runs scored in the American League. Mariners are at 185. That's third best in the American League. Third best. And they got maybe the best pitching staff in baseball. I'm not messing with that to bring in a clubhouse problem because I think they have a pretty decent clubhouse right now as well. Again, not there every day. I don't know. From the outside. You think, well, here's the thing. Maybe because Castillo talking about moving forward, Scott, and AC. Castillo's the kind of guy who's going to start probably being on the downward turn of his career. I'm going to keep I'm keeping Gilbert. I'm keeping all of these guys. Miller. Who's the other guy I'm thinking of? He's hurt right now. I mean, Castillo's a good guy to have around. He only pitches. Oh, there he is. Sorry. He's pitching really well. But Castillo's what? 30? 32. So that might be a trade partner. I can't see a lot of others, quite frankly. I just can't. Well, you traded a lot of prospects for Crochet, I would say, don't you think? I mean, they get less established players, but potential. Again, you have to take into effect that these teams are going to look at Devers and say, is he going to get better the next 8 years or worse? Do you think we have not seen the best years? We said he was 28 years old. So are you saying you do not think we've seen the best of Devers yet? I think we have. On a consistent basis. Well, maybe a good young closer instead of a starter. A close, if I'm a team, I'd be willing to trade you a closer because they're so mercurial anyway. They're good 1 year, bad the next. I mean, you got two of the top closers in baseball right now who are awful in Clase and Devin Williams with the Yankees. I'll give you a reliever. I don't want him on my team. Yeah, Yankees might be a good spot for him. Theoretically, they don't have a third baseman. I don't want him. He's a left-handed hitter. Don't want him. Of course, I don't have the starting pitching to trade you either. And you wouldn't trade him in the division either. So if I'm Seattle, you don't move those young pitchers for any player. I agree. I love, even if their fifth starter, they get the best fifth starter in baseball, and woo. I love that guy. Miller and Gilbert, they've had some injury issues, but Miller and Gilbert are really good. Who's the other guy I'm losing the track of here? Oh, man. There's another pitcher that I'm not thinking of. Let me see if I go to the depth chart, figure it out. Oh, George Kirby. I'm not busting up that pitching staff. I might move Castillo off it. I'm not moving the other four guys. Scott says we've seen the best of Rafael Devers. AC says, I think as a full-time DH, he'll have even better numbers. Playing third base got him injured and messed with his swing. I'm not sure. Oh, messed with his swing because of the injuries. Okay, that's fair. I really didn't think I was going to spend this whole hour talking about Rafael Devers. I'm glad we did. It's funny to me that we're talking like a guy who is not a team player, who's a me first guy, and on the same day that I was giving some kudos to Chet Lemon, who by everybody's account, guys I've interviewed, guys I've seen comments from the last few days, is the consummate team player, the consummate guy you want in your clubhouse in Chet Lemon. Tells you a little bit about the state of baseball today. I wanted to get into a few more things. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say goodbye to the Roku audience, and I'm going to stay a little bit longer with you guys. Not too long, but I want to go through I just want to go through the standings. I might go through the standings quick. Go through the schedule for the weekend and the starters tonight. And to do that, I'm going to need to say goodbye to the Roku audience. We'll do it right now just so we don't overrun somebody at 4:00. So with that, we'll say goodbye to the Roku audience, and you guys on the rest of the network, stick around. Okay, we're back. I should have said goodbye. I did say goodbye. Where am I here? Chet Lemon, one of the best leadoff hitters, and he had a great year the year they won the World Series in '84. Had some other great years. I don't know about you, Scott, but I was shocked that I never heard that Chet Lemon never won a Gold Glove. I'm shocked. He was a tremendous defensive player. Tremendous. He's never reaching Manny's numbers. Manny's a Hall of Famer. Manny should be in a Hall of Fame. Oh, bye, Roku. I'm confused by your bye, Roku. I'm confused by these two comments. He reminds you of Manny, but Manny was way better. Manny was way better. Manny Ramirez is a Hall of Famer. I've had this argument now for a few years. Not being a Red Sox fan, not being an Indians fan, Manny Ramirez was a great hitter. Now, he was a bit out there. I don't know about whether I'd call him a great player. I'm sorry, great team player. He's a great clutch hitter. He was head and shoulders better than Raffy, in my mind. So I'm not sure. So you confuse me here. He reminds you of Manny in the sense that he's not a team player, or Manny was out in his own world. Remember Manny? What was that play? Didn't Manny cut a ball off from center, being thrown from center field to third base one time? I don't know if Manny wasn't a team player, or Manny just marched to his own drummer, man. He's one of the most feared hitters in baseball for about 5 years, maybe longer. At least 5. Yeah, here's the thing. He might be the most feared hitter in Boston's lineup for a few years. But I've never heard Rafael Devers mentioned as one of the, and by the way, Devers has killed the Yankees over the years. He's killed Garrett Cole over the years. But I've never heard Devers mentioned as one of the most feared hitters in baseball. Man, he was. No. Again, I say Manny belongs in the Hall of Fame. He did. That's what I thought. Got a saying up here, Manny is just being Manny. I remember some, he went into the Green Monster to go to the bathroom during a game? Manny and Poppy, history? No. There's a couple guys named Ruth and Garrick that I would say were better. There was a period of time Maris and Mantle would have been better, but only over 2 or 3 years. I would say they're one of the best 1-2 punches in history, not the best. Nobody's ever going to top Ruth and Garrick. Nobody. For a long period of time. Manny and Big Poppy, yeah. And I'm not a guy who's going to sit here and throw steroids at you either. Care about steroids. Everybody's using them. Until I know everybody who wasn't and everybody who was, I'm giving everybody the benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry. No benefit of doubt. They're all using them. Manny robbed an Orioles hitter of a home run. And as he was making the catch, high five. Manny was a character. I mean, Manny isn't a guy that you would say was, a great team player, but Manny was just a different kind of guy. Manny had some joy playing the game. By this comment, you can see that. I don't think Devers doesn't look like he loves the game. You got to put up some big names from a long time ago to think about two better. Well, again, history means something, AC. You did say all time ever, didn't you say? And what would you say? History. So, yeah, I got to go back a ways to get to Ruth and Garrick, but I can't just leave them out of the conversation. They're the best two ever. And not because I'm a Yankee fan. And again, over a much longer period of time than Manny and Poppy were together. Great, but they were great. Don't get me wrong, they were great. I never liked seeing, Manny felt like a Red Sox to me. I enjoyed his part of even though he wasn't he was part of the rivalry, right? Wasn't Manny a bat when Clemens? Yeah, Manny was a bat when Clemens threw over his head in the playoff game when Pedro laid Don Zimmer to the ground. It's been a great conversation. I love this. This is better than talking about what's going on in baseball today. Amazing. Let me just run down the stand. Let's look at the standings quickly. We're going a little long already. We can go on our remaining. I probably shouldn't have gone off because it doesn't look like a show's coming on at 4:00 anymore on Roku. Based on what I see. Any event, we still have the majority of you still here. Yankees continue to lead the East by 2 games, not playing great baseball by any stretch, 5-5. Nobody in the East is playing well. Red Sox have moved up to second, game over 500, 2 games back. Orioles playing themselves right out of it if they're not careful. The surprising Tigers, best record in the American League. In fact, tied for the best record in baseball. AJ Hinch doing a great job there. 2.5 clear the Guardians, but the Royals are coming up strong. 6 wins in a row, 9 of their last 10. Twins trying to fight their way back and not get Rocco Baldelli fired. Where else? The White Sox only 1 game off their record-setting pace. The only thing that stands in their way would be of having a new record if they continue to play badly. Potentially, would be the Colorado Rockies, who are on a pace to win 26 games this year, guys. 26 games. You can't make it up. American League West Mariners playing really good baseball. I told you the hitting is catching up to the pitching a little bit there. The A's, a surprising 2 games over 500, 3 games out of first. Playing in the Bees Stadium. Astros floundering along at 500. The Rangers continue to. Sorry, Alan. The Rangers continue to fall at 3-7. Their last 10, 2 games under 500. The Angels are just the Angels. The Mets continue to do it with mirrors. I don't know what they're doing it with. Great hitting by Alonso so far and Lindor. Some surprising pitching. Got a 1.5 lead on the Phillies, who are starting to get it together. The Braves are starting to get together. 6-4 in their last 10. They're only a game under 500. Remember, this team started 0-8. They're 18-11 in their last 29. Nationals, 4 games under. The Marlins are the Marlins. The Cubbies and the surprising Cardinals. I had Carlos Marmol on the severe hot seat last week. They've won 5 in a row and moved into second place at 500, along with the Brewers. The Reds struggling along. Terry Francona having some health issues again. And the Pirates fired Derek Shelton. I said earlier, fire your manager. If you don't give a manager players because you're taking all your luxury tax and revenue sharing money and put in your pockets and spending it on cocaine and hookers or whatever you're spending it on, you're not going to win. Keep firing managers. It won't work. Dodgers lead the West by a game. The Padres and Giants playing tough, game behind them. Diamondbacks only 5 games back at 20-18. And right now, they would not. Up until this week, they would have had all 3 wild cards in the West. And as I said, the Rockies are a new team to watch all year long. Let's go. 6-31 on a pace to go 26 and 136. You can't make it up how bad they are. Manny and Poppy had to go back-to-back homers in 2004 in one of them playoff games versus the Yankees, and it was never a doubt in my mind that they would and did. They did. That comeback should give them a few extra points. You had to go there. One of the worst 7-day stretches of my life. Kudos to the Red Sox, so that was a great game. Let's take a quick look at the schedule, shall we? Here's what's coming up this weekend. You got the Braves at the Pirates, and their interim manager, Bryce Elder and Bailey Falter will go tonight. Texas will be at Detroit. Interesting matchup. Patrick Corbin, who's actually pitching pretty well, and is really a poster child for teaching your son, I guess, or daughter, to be left-handed, because they can pitch forever in the major leagues and not have to be any good. Corbin against Skubal in that matchup. The Red Hot Cardinals at the Nationals. Eric Fetty against Mitchell Parker. The Brewers will visit the Rays. Quintana against Zach Littell, Cubbies at the Mets in an interesting weekend series. Tonight will be Jamison Talion against Clay Holmes, who has pitched pretty well since moving into that starting role. I'll come back to your comments in a second, AC. Don't go away. Phillies will go to Cleveland, the Indians. Sorry, team formerly known as the Indians. Aaron Nola against Gavin Williams. The The Red Sox, who we've been talking a lot about this hour and plus, at the Red Hot Royals, should be an interesting series. Hunter Dobbins and Michael Lorenzen started off. Miami will be at Chicago in a series. That's the Broken Windshield series. You have to either pay me to go to the game, or that's the game where if you left your tickets on the windshield and came back to get them, found the windshield smash, instead of 2, you had 4. It's an old Pete Axelm joke. Reds and Houston. Scott's got to remember that joke. He's a the gamblers. The Reds will go to the Astros. Nick Martinez and Hunter Brown. The surprising Giants at the resurging, at least surging at the moment, Twins. It'll be Jordan Hicks at Chris Paddock on Apple TV. So get ready to watch without the volume. San Diego at Colorado. Vasquez against Senzatella. The Orioles, God, they need to win. And they're going to play the Angels this weekend on the road. Maybe it's a place to get healthy and get something going. That'll be Sagano against Hendricks. The Dodgers and the Diamondbacks in an interesting early season matchup. Sasaki against Rodriguez. The Blue Jays will go to Seattle. A nice matchup there. Kevin Gausman starts it off against Luis Castillo, who we mentioned earlier. And the Yankees will go to the surprising A's for the weekend. They start off with Will Warren, who struggled. They need him to step up badly. Him and Clark Schmidt both. Clark Schmidt pitched pretty well the other night. Will Warren did not. Against Osvaldo Bido. Those are the games tonight. Terry Francona. I dealt 3-card poker to him when he was working for ESPN. What a night. I'm praying for him. I believe he's back with the team now. I don't think his issues this year have been as serious as they've been in the past. I was surprised when Terry came back. Great manager. Hated him when he was with the Red Sox, but I always have respect for even though I might dislike a team, if they beat my ass, I respect them. Terry Francona did a great job with the Red Sox in 2004 and several other years, obviously. Of course, Scott remembers Pete Axelm. Tonight, here's your gambling bet as we get ready to close it up. If you got any closing comments, AC, throw them out there. Good, heated debate today. I like it. That's what I want these shows to be. I love them. Thank you guys for tuning in. Scott's, pair Detroit and San Diego together tonight in a parlay. You can more than double your money. The Rockies stink, to say it nicely. A stink is not even. They have to go many rungs up the ladder to approach stink. You guys have been a great hour. Plus, Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talk's MLB update. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the groups that allow me to share this later. And we'll see you Sunday morning with the Sunday Stream of Conscious and more of this nonsense. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Scott and AC, thanks so much for participating as heartily as you did tonight. We'll see you on Sunday. Have a great Friday and Saturday. Bye-bye.